Yo, man. Miss Rusty. Boom, Miss Rusty. Boom, Miss Rusty. I'm going to get that. I figure out where I need to talk where it will not clip out and just go, see, because I get too excited when I start doing the show. And today is no exception because today it is Thursday. And
Yeah.
you know what? Getting stuff done already today. It's somehow I got everything done I needed to get done. And so that means I got to come here, got to have a good time and relax and just enjoy it. Enjoy my guest. And I have a special guest today because it's Thursday and it's a special day today. So right here, right now, Shan Baskin, how you doing?
Hi, I am good. I'm excited to be here, man. I love your background, everything you got going on over there.
Thank you. Yeah, it's the best I can do with without being able to, because not allowed to go and put any holes in the wall here. So
Right.
everything is sort of up, but sort of falling as well. Things have fallen. I've lost some things, but yeah, I'm doing the best I can. It's been one day I'll put stuff back up, but I might not. I might wait until I move and I can get a place where I can put holes in the walls because once starts getting hot or cold, things just start falling. So um,
Gotcha.
yeah, I don't understand adhesives enough to know the science of that, but that's okay. Um, so yeah, I'm looking in your background here. I think I see Michael Jordan doing a dunk on the left,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's kind of what I can make out right now. But so
I,
uh so are you okay? You said you're into wrestling. Are you into? You're obviously into Michael Jordan, and I. It looks like someone on the Lakers next to him, but I'm not.
Kobe.
Kobe, okay,
Yeah.
Kobe. All right. You've always been into basketball. Is that something kind of that goes along with
Yeah.
your
Mm-hmm. I love sports. I'm a big fan of sports. As I got older, I even started like watching golf,
watching golf?
tennis. But yeah, I'm a
Te-
huge basketball fan. Yeah, for
So,
sure.
where are you someone that your team is where you live, or is it some other teams that you're into, or do you not have teams and you just enjoy
So
watching?
So like I'm in Nashville. So Nashville
Okay.
doesn't have a team, but we do have the Titans. I'm originally from Michigan, so my team's always going to be, Michigan State, Michigan, uh
Where
Detroit
are you?
Pistons. I'm in Nashville.
Well, no, when you were in
Oh,
in
oh
in,
yeah, like
in
right
Michigan.
there.
Okay. All right. I
Yeah. What do you know about that?
uh, I just I learned a couple things. I went looking at a place out in Michigan, out in shoot, I do not remember the name of the town. Um, it was on the west coast of it, and it was a little beach town about an hour north of Muskegon. I don't remember the name of the town, but
Okay.
looking at a place out there. But so okay, so you're in Nashville, and so you got the Titans, but you're not a Titans fan. Are you? You're
I
a
mean, I support them because I live here, but I'm always gonna be a diehard Detroit Lions fan, and I know
so
that's bad.
how's that? I have a buddy who's from Detroit, but he claims to be a
Packers.
well, no, he claims to be a fucking New England Patriots fan because he's
Okay,
which is weird. But I try not to give him too much shit about that. But so you're a Lions fan, and so I mean, I'm a Bengals fan, and I've had plenty of years where it's just been like, all the jokes and stuff for the team just being terrible.
yeah,
And
they've been good lately though.
they have, which has been weird. And same within hockey, like um in hockey, I was a Hartford Whalers fan, and then they went away, so I became a New York Islanders fan, and they were just terrible. There'd be like one game they play on TV a year, and because they were just so bad. And now
Yeah,
they're good, and so it's yeah, it was always hard. It's like, but you gotta like your teams, and
gotta like
um
them.
yeah. And so then what about basketball? Who do you like in basketball?
I was a big Kobe fan, so growing up, it had to be the Lakers or Allen Iverson and the Philadelphia 76ers. What's another team? Oh, the Golden State Warriors. That's like been my team for the last 10 years. So yeah, it was Stephen
Okay, what
Curry.
is that what drew you to the Warriors then?
Yeah,
Was
of
Curry?
course, because I didn't know. I don't know who the Warriors was before Stephen Curry got there, and they started their whole little dynasty run. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a Blazers fan, so the Lakers was always the team that was it was hard because yeah, I definitely I grew up in Portland, and so I mean there were a lot of um, you know, Lakers fans there too. But um so how did your love of sports translate into you starting to get into making films and other kinds of
Okay.
um was that did that play a factor?
hmm Like the way I even carry myself on the set, I kind of correlated to me like being on the basketball floor or a football or a basketball coach, because it kind of just have the same. It's easy to cross over. Like discipline, consistency. Like being on set, you're in the moment. You have to think on the fly, and it's almost the same as sports. You're in the moment, and you have the coach off to the side. And whenever we get our timeouts or in between takes, that's when I pull my actor to the side and I give them the notes that they need to adjust their performances. So it definitely correlates over to film a lot. And that's the reason why I have my MJ in the background, Kobe Bryant, because that's the level of greatness that I'm trying to achieve. And like I want to hold myself to a higher standard because it's all about leadership. Leadership, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And so were you just I mean, were you doing other things in film before you got into directing, or were you, producing films, or were you doing any acting or any sort of other stuff on set, or
hmm I
what
did.
oh, go ahead.
Well, yeah, I was. I started off as an actor. I started off doing theater, I think in high school. The high school musical craze back then. That was like probably one of my first big major roles in plays. And I continued to do it in college. Never really got a chance to act in like in a film, maybe twice, but it was like super small roles. And then from there, I was already in college for mass communication. I started to realize, like, man, I think I want to do film, but there wasn't a lot of women, period, who was directing around that time. So it was kind of like a fantasy almost. It's like, I want to do film. Then I look around and see all these guys. I'm like, never mind. maybe I should go right. So I finally I finally started seeing a lot more women being film directors, and but I couldn't make the switch in college, but I ended up going to grad school for film because it was like had a semester left. I was going to graduate. So I was like, let me just get out of here. But I went to
Get
grad school.
get into something you're enjoying.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I love it. I love it. It's tough. It's so many nuances, so many different things, but it's the thing that makes me the most happy is for sure. Yeah.
So then are you um how hands-on are you with every part of your film? Is it your script? Are you handing off the editing to somebody else? Are you um I mean, like and how much will you let it veer from what is written on the script to what is, what comes out? I guess for those questions.
Okay. So like right now, since I'm like in the independent stage, I believe I've been doing filmmaking for about 5 years. 2 years of that was just learning, and then I finally got into the groove. So like right now, everything I got my hands on everything from writing the script because I am a writer also. I'm writing the script, I'm editing, I'm doing the casting just to keep the costs low because I'm
What
self-financing these films, and these films are expensive, like maybe anywhere between $2,000 to $5,000 per short.
and
So it like right now we're not even like at the place where we can like pay everyone yet. So that's the reason why I have to wear a lot of hats to make sure we can, get the film completed. So yeah, I'm doing the editing, I'm doing the artwork, the marketing. I'm doing a lot.
and
I'm
and
doing a lot.
casting is crazy.
Yes,
Casting
that's hard.
uh is very hard.
Yeah.
Like casting is, and plus, the chance that you're going to get everybody to, you know, everybody would be there when they need to be there, everybody to, not drop off before. And I mean, there's a lot of moving parts with that. Just even that's going to go, and, you know, that almost seems like a couple jobs. And I mean,
Yeah.
you know, um,
Hard work for sure, man. Like I spend so much time per project. Like I'm in the middle of rolling a project out. I'm in the middle of shooting a project. We're going to start back, finish shooting that one tomorrow. And then I'm in the process of editing. So it takes a long time for me to get projects done because I'm doing everything plus with life, plus
yeah.
juggling other projects as well. So it takes a while for me to get one project done, especially if I want to execute it at a high level. Just don't want to throw anything like out there because I don't look at my films as content. I look at it as, short form cinema. So yeah, but to get the casting so difficult because like when I first got started, you only want to work with the most talented or the most talented people you got within your reach. But now I'm starting to see that's not even good enough anymore. You need to be working with people that's professional, who has a good attitude on set, who can be on time. Those things it matters so much. And it reminds me growing up, your parents would be like, be on time, and you'd be like, oh, okay, whatever. But now being on if you don't be on
Yeah.
time, you set the production behind maybe 2 or 3 hours sometimes. So it's like
And
super important to find those type of people, man.
yeah, I mean, and that's money too. Like,
Hmm.
in a way, I mean, that's everyone's time. And it's frustrating. I've, I mean, I don't know how good a practice this is, but like when I do it, I say, call time is, 11:45. At 11:45 and 1 second, I'm locking the door. And, if you're not there, like, if you think you might be late, leave early. Like, there's going to be a lot of other people. It's not just me waiting around, it's everyone else that I'm
Hmm.
bringing. And, I mean, yeah, just being on time is something that I think kind of has gotten lost. And I mean, it's something that's
Yeah.
so important for filming. I mean, it's not, and I mean, also, I mean, there's also differences with not having to use actual film, um, and that as far as money and stuff. But that was another one. I had a dream the other night.
Mm.
Side note here about I found a disposable camera and I had to go and get it developed. And then I got to the store, and it was like, oh, it's gonna be like, you know, I think it was like $60. And then it was like, well, and then like, do you want doubles of those pictures? I'm like, I'm just probably not gonna do it. I guess it's not that important what's really on there. But having digital is just, and I mean, you have to have all those memory cards. I mean, I remember doing stuff where it was, it had to record over things a lot,
Hmm.
because and just kind of lose that stuff then afterwards. But I mean, how many memory cards you going through? How much, I mean,
Data.
that's, yeah,
Oof.
like,
I spend a lot of money on data because like when I shoot, especially like when I do movies, and these are
yeah.
just short films, I shoot raw and I use Blackmagic Pocket. Their data is so big. Like every project I probably had to buy two, what is it, 8 terabyte hard drives just to back up the project on. And then like I be shooting with 1 terabyte and 2 terabyte SDD. Like so
Whoa.
let me see if I got, here go one right here. So these things right here, and these things are probably 200 and up,
Wait, what is
$200 and
that?
up. This is a
It,
SDD.
so I never seen that before. So is that like an SD card or is that like something that plugs in with like a cord to
It's
the
something that
camcorder?
it's something that plugs into the cord that holds data. So
Okay.
you can use what you mentioned, like a little card, but I have a cinema camera, so it wouldn't make sense. They don't make them big enough.
Yeah.
Or you can use a CFast card, and a CFast card is basically like a bigger SD card, like a big chunk of a square. And those are like maybe 400 or 500, starting
Whoa.
at 512 gigabytes. So data is really expensive, especially if you shoot in raw 4K, 6K, 8K, 12K. It gets expensive. So
Sure.
yeah, like I'm prepping to shoot the movie. And I already spent about $500 or $600 just on data, just to be able to store the movie. So I have two I don't even know what, 30, 40 gigabyte uh drives, I think. And that
Whoa.
was like $500 for two. And I caught that on sale. So it's expensive.
So
It's expensive to shoot.
are you keeping that stuff then, or are you recording over it the stuff you don't use?
So what I do is I have ones that I edit off of. So this is like the one I edit off of. And then like whenever the ones I shoot with, I just, back it up and then keep using it basically.
So then
So
at the end of the project, you're are you scrapping that stuff then, I guess? Like, or
I'm backing it
it's
up
all getting
before
backed
the,
up, so you're keeping everything you've ever filmed on.
exactly. So this is how
Good
I
call.
store my movies. So we have like hard drives like this, and we'll store the movies on there. This is cold storage, and then we move on to the next one basically. So
So
yeah.
then, so if you're recording, do you have, are you, if you're, I guess, directing, are you directing and have someone else filming then during the,
Sometimes it
so,
depends, but when I'm shooting bigger projects, I like to have like at least a team of 10. But lately, it's just been about 3 or 4 people. Sometimes I'm able to shoot. It depends, but I prefer not shooting and directing at the same time because I want to focus on the performances, and it's a lot. It takes up a lot of mental space too. So,
uh-huh.
yeah.
Yeah. And so then are you, I mean, are people, like, do you have a, like a separate monitor, or are you like looking over the cameraman's, like, they're over their
Yeah,
shoulder
I
and,
ha- I
oh, go
have
ahead.
a no, you're fine. I have a monitor that I look at. I went and purchased a monitor. I have an external monitor on the camera as well. So when I'm if I do got somebody shooting, I'm not looking at the camera. I'm looking at the monitor. So
And just assuming they know what they're doing.
oof, not even assuming, man. I got to make sure they know they know what they're doing. So yeah, you gotta especially at this stage. Like I said, I'm at still at the independent stage. Only been doing this for 5 years. But as you continue to work yourself up, and yeah, you be around more professional people, everybody's getting paid. But I try to trust people that I work with for the most part. Sometimes that came and bit me in the butt. So I do make sure to see, like I told this person to shoot raw. He decided not to shoot raw because he wanted to edit the project, and he doesn't have a computer that could edit 4K, and I was unaware. So when I got in post, I'm editing the film.
Oh,
He didn't even shoot. There's a thing where you shoot flat, and basically flat is it's almost like a coloring book. So like you see how you have colors on your screen, basically it would be all dull, right? And then
Yeah.
what I would have to do is go in and color it. So I told
Whoa.
the DP he didn't shoot flat or raw. So there was some shots that I couldn't even save because he didn't even listen to the specs that like how I told him to shoot and I was unaware. So yeah, situations like that do happen.
Yeah. So then are you watching like on your monitor, having them do like a run through beforehand before each scene then and kind of and then giving notes and
Yeah, that was a lesson. That was a lesson learned. So basically what I do now is I do test shooting, a lot of test shooting. I get my specs beforehand and then we have a whole spec sheet there for the DP or whoever so they can make sure they're following the specs. And also I always have like a DIT. A DIT, that's their job. And yeah.
so are you setting up these shots then like before you even start your production? I guess you
Hmm.
start your production, but before you start any filming, you have every set shot up, ready to go, and know
Yeah.
where it's going to go, what the camera's going to do, where the marks are going to be, where people are going to. Okay, wow.
That's part of being a director. Yeah. Like when I first got started, I thought directors just show up, sit in the chair, tell everybody what to do. And then I really got into it. And I'm like, no, the director, we do a lot of work, storyboarding. When we supposed to collaborate with the DP for that, but we do storyboarding, shot listing, location scouting, everything, testing shots, trying to see what type of movie we're going to shoot. I remember the Batman before I think it was like back in 2019 or 2020, they announced it. They did the test shooting with Robert Patterson. So yeah, you got to go to set with a game plan. We're not just pulling up like, all right, we're gonna get what we get. No, it's so hard.
Yeah.
Like you have to have a plan. Have a plan. Everything needs to be taken care of. And even if you still do, stuff always goes wrong. And you always have to, that's the best part about filmmaking is the problem solving because you're in the moment. So problems going to come and your ability to execute and solve these problems, that's what makes you a great filmmaker. And that's going to affect the outcome of the movie. So it's fun. A lot of work though. A lot of work.
Yeah. What's the time you had to do that?
The timing it takes to
Or
do
no, what's the time you had to do that where you had to do something on the
um
fly?
there are things that happen at almost every set I've been on that nothing never goes right. And I always have to think. I would say we shot a movie called After Dust. It was like a Hitman movie. And there was the motel room we shot at was smaller than what I wanted it to be. So just like having to rework your angles and trying to figure out how to tell the story, but make sure you have all the shots you need for continuity so you could cut it together. So, like every set, I'm trying to think of another instance. Say, like, if one of your lead actors does show up late. One of my projects, the lead actor showed up late, 4 hours late for the entire
Oh,
shoot. So the last day we shot, we ended up trying to shoot at least 16 hours, right? But what I tried to do, and I didn't know why he was showing up late. Like it was weird because I'm like, if you told me he was going to show up late, I would have delayed production for
yeah.
4 hours versus everybody's here. We sitting around looking at each other. But a workaround that was okay. Instead of us just sitting here, let's get some B-roll. Let's go get some shots outside that we can use for transitions or something like that. So yeah, man, just a lot of stuff like that can happen.
So is there something of yours that's sort of um like it's collect the story shot like something that uh
Like my
uh
own style.
yeah, like your own style, like a Kubrick shot where they got the person looking down then putting
Doing
their
it.
eyes up,
Yeah.
yeah, doing one of those or
Doing
something.
like zooming in.
Yeah, there's
uh
something like that you do.
I I don't know if I have like a certain thing I do, but I do have a style, and my style is very gritty, it's vivid. In almost every movie we've done, we're always going to have a scene with just beautiful colors. That's kind of like my style. I'm trying to do what should I said? I don't know. And if anything else I will add to my style, I really love close-ups, like extreme close-ups. I don't know why, but I do. I just like seeing the detail, the texture sometimes. But yeah, my style is very vivid, colorful, and gritty because I'm from Michigan. So very
Yeah.
gritty.
Yeah. And so like, are you with the close up, are you talking like what is it shoots right to the close up, or is it like a zoom into a close up, or
Just
um
like cut into a close-up. So
cut
like
into a close up?
let's say like just my lips or maybe my eye or just the
Yeah.
details. I really enjoy getting those type of shots. So yeah.
So then what's kind of something that you have with your storytelling that's is there some sort of, I don't know, like is everything you do, is it like in the same universe? Do these people exist in the same world, or anything like that?
Yeah, most definitely. I try to keep everything in the same world. I'm always thinking about building that universe out like Tarantino or Pixar. So yeah, most definitely. I try to keep it in the same world, especially when I never done a feature film before, getting ready to. And when I move over to that territory, I look at my career as a collective, like a Tarantino. I think he's getting ready to do his 10th film, and how he said all his characters is connected in some way, shape, or form. So that's something I definitely keep in my mind, just so we can drop those Easter eggs to the audiences and hopefully they enjoy them. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, getting to bring in some of those characters, some of the old
Hmm.
films, and yeah, just sort of popping them in. It's like, oh wait, hey, all right, that's who that is.
Uh,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. Do you have do you have any that are like that you have, or that are you setting up for something to have like kind of their own spin-off that you wouldn't have thought, like maybe someone that was a secondary character or something in a film? Is there anyone that like you've kind of picked up on and go, that's a really interesting character I didn't think about, but I think that person has some legs and people are going to want to hear that story?
So like in the movie after this we just did, we released it last year in October. It's a movie about a hitman, about this woman, this guy, they're on a hit together and things just take a left turn. But we have two characters in there. The actors, Tay and Ray, they did an amazing job. They play the cleaners. And they have the type of relationship, the relationship I would think of. You ever seen Bad Boys with
Oh,
Michael
yeah.
Bay? They have that
Yeah.
Martin Lawrence and Will Smith type of banner with each other, and
Cool.
they were so good in like those roles. They was dressed up in the oh, what did they call it? The painters white uniforms and the chemistry, and it was so good. I wanted to do a spin-off with those two characters like right away. It's just that other
Yeah.
things got in the way, but I'm still planning on doing that because it was just so good. And the audience loved it so much, and they really was breakout characters from the film for sure. Like it's so funny. The way I think even some of it was ad lib. Like I told them what I wanted. Like I wrote it and I was like, you guys can keep it going until we hit a certain mark, and then we'll cut, and they killed it. So and also in the feature I have, there's a character, a rap character that I bring up. His name is called Run It Up.
Yeah.
Just it's a satire about, rappers these days. So his name is called Run It Up. And the main character mentioned like, yeah, running up, he was in this fake relationship. So now my next feature film, Running Up, is going to be the lead character. So
Oh,
people can
cool.
actually see who they was talking about. And then, yeah, so I'm definitely trying to connect the dots, and you do get little ideas like that. Cause I was like, I like that name, Run It Up. It's about
Yeah.
a rapper who pretends to be gangster, I guess, and he gets himself in a situation he got to get himself out of, which it kind of got inspired by Reservoir Dogs. So he pretends he's hood and he's this, and then he's going to get robbed because, a lot of rappers or celebrities in LA, they're getting robbed left and right.
Yeah.
It's not funny. It's not funny. Let me stop laughing. It's not funny, but it's ironic, right? So we're going to have this rapper who pretends he's this and that, and then he's going to get robbed, and we're going to see he isn't who he say he isn't who he say he is, basically.
Yeah, the so it'd be like Reservoir Dogs meets CB4 or
Yeah,
something.
something like that.
Yeah.
That's the next feature film. Like, I'm giving up too much information here. No, I'm joking.
Yeah. So then, I mean, what is like, what do you want to hand off? Like, if you have the top 3 things you could hand off to somebody else and get it out of your control, what would those 3 roles be?
Man, first row, editing. I hate editing my own film so much because, the actors got hot mics. You hear and you see every little thing, even if they're talking, can I cuss? Shit about you,
Yeah.
or you see every mistake, and it makes you insecure during the whole entire process. So you seeing all these mistakes and you're cutting it together and you just like, oh my gosh. So editing just takes so much time. Another road I would like to give away is casting. I would rather have a casting director come with me with about 20 people, and then we can go from there. Right now, I probably go to Facebook groups. I posted on casting websites and things like that, but it could be a little bit overbearing. Sometimes I would like for the vetting to be done just a little bit more before it gets to me. Another role, excuse me. Another role would be let me see. I said editing, casting. What else do? I do a lot. I love the marketing. I love the marketing side of film, the business
Oh,
side. I really do. But once again, if I could have all that time back to focus more on writing and directing, that's what I would do. So, like, social media, right? So I market a lot to social media. I wish I had like somebody who can just focus on that aspect of film for me. So I wouldn't even have to open up my phone to go into Facebook or Instagram. Like, all of those posts are planned and executed for me, like it's on autopilot. So those are the 3 things that I would happily give somebody those roles.
yeah. I think I would probably, say the same with you on that one. I mean, any one of those 3 would be great just to have the time, because all 3 of those are very, very time
Time.
sensitive. And yeah, like you were saying too, with editing, just watching, like, it's good, but it's still like you have that layer of, like, that someone else doesn't have. Like, it's your work, and someone else can kind of, get past what what things we have in our head already that might not, that really only we would see, that the director would only see, or the person editing would see, or the person whose main vision it is. And yeah, it's nice to have someone else. And then you probably still have final decision on
Hmm.
what goes. And yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to be able to get that
Yeah.
down. And so okay, so then your movie that's coming out here soon, your short film,
Hmm.
is how long, like, minute wise,
Minute
is it
wise,
approximately what?
I believe it's only about 8 minutes.
8 minutes, okay. And so is there, like, what's your kind of average time for a scene before it cuts to something different, even just to switch angles or something? Are you, because like we were talking about wrestling earlier, and
Hmm.
um wherein if you watch a couple of different products, WWE doesn't do it as much anymore, but like the last 5 or so years beforehand, like the number of cuts were just, it was boom, 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 boom. And they do a thing too with punches and stuff where they kind of go, zoom the camera in and out
Yeah.
really fast. And but yeah, then like, you get some where it's just like set on the hard cam for a long time and till someone hits someone or something like that. Are your cuts more um are they more fast, or are they long shots, or kind of combination of both?
I think it's a combination of both, and it also depends on the story and what's happening in the moment, and that's going to dictate the pacing of the story. So let's, for example, if it was an action movie and we got Tom Cruise, the bathroom scene, or Tom Cruise, he's fighting a villain, and we're trying to get all of this energy into this scene, right? So we're probably going to shoot at a higher, is it a higher shutter speed to get more of a jittery situation, so like you can feel the punches much more. It's going to be a little bit more sharper.
Yeah.
That I may be cutting a lot. I'm going to be cutting with his fist. We probably got like what Michael Bay have, like 50 cameras, GoPros on the hand, GoPro here, so you're going to be cutting a lot because of the energy. But if it's like a slow burner, let's say a man just got back home from the army, he found out his grandma died, it's not going to be a lot of cutting. You're going to let the shot stay still for a moment to get the emotion, maybe a lot of close-up shots, like medium close-up shots to see that emotion. So it really depends on the story, the genre, what's happening in that moment, and that dictates it. And that's the reason why wrestling do it. Well, did it. Like they're like, oh my gosh, we got Seth Rollins getting beat up, and they're cutting, selling the story and all of that stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's very much about storytelling and
Mm-hmm.
wrestling. And yeah, always has been. And can't I mean, I don't know. I mean, there are some things that people will come back for to watch someone else do some, if someone does some crazy shit, but at the same time, you can not have to do a bunch in the ring if you're telling a good story and make people want to invest and want to have a reason to come back and want to know why that person needs to get their ass kicked. And
Mm-hmm.
it's important. A story is important. And um so I guess, are your stories, coming from places of what you've experienced, or like, are they some made up or a combination, or like where are they coming from? What's kind of inspiring them to be like, I need to tell this story so someone knows this story, because
Okay.
yeah.
Man, these are some good questions too, by the way. You're really making me think. Like
Thanks.
think about my answers and think like, why am I doing this? Or, what is driving my stories or whatever. I will say I never told a story that was just so close. It was almost like a autobiography or anything like that. But there is inspiration that I pull from different things in life, like or just like how I feel about certain topics. Like the feature that I'm working on is called Engagement, and it really touches a lot about the social media era of things, how everybody would just do anything for clout. And that's why it's called Engagement. It's a double entendre about this
Ah.
guy who's actually engaged, and he decides to be in a fake relationship with I guess, a quote unquote Instagram model to boost his presence online and to build this brand. And yeah, it's nothing like too personal, but I do pull from things, and I have lived a very colorful life. So like I see that a lot of my work has substance, and I appreciate that, because growing up or going through whatever you're going through, you don't see it that way. You like, man, but I lived a very colorful life, man. Good, bad, sunshine valleys. Um, and it really helps give my work substance, and it's not just one dimensional. and that's something I really am grateful for. And I'm able to tell stories with very complex characters because life is complex, the nuances, the black and white and gray. So that's where I try to focus on. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's very easy to give a one-dimensional character and, but really getting them to be complex and, um, I say this one a lot. One of the guys that trained me how to, do, character development and stuff of that nature in wrestling said, your character or your voice once you can take that character and you put them in a fast food restaurant and the fast food worker there fucks up your order and you know how that character is going to react to that. And I always like that. I always like that thing because I think that's pretty true. Like once you know how they're going to do like that, you can kind of write for that person and know what they're going to do. And it's not just, they're just this person that looks weird or something, it's something a lot more different. And so, and especially with you getting to, put them in different, put them in different films and really, make them even more complex and in depth, is going to be fun to watch those and kind of see where they all get to progress to.
You know what's crazy, Rusty? I actually do the same thing with the characters I write. That's an exercise one of my professors taught me. Like basically, you writing the scene, take the character out of your story, put them in a whole completely different situation, and write that scene. And that's how you get to know what will your characters do with they was at a bank and all of a sudden they got robbed, or what will your character do with just certain things happen, and I actually write the scene out. So it's very similar.
I like that one too. With if the bank got robbed, that's a good one. That's a really good good way to write. I like that one. So then when you're writing, is it I don't like using this term. Do you ever get into writer's block, or is I just I don't like that phrase, or it's kind of a shit phrase, but
I do, man.
and
Like, yeah. Oh, finish, my bad. Go ahead.
no, it's cool. So what happens then? I mean, what do you do? Do you
What I do?
drop it, or do you try to work through it? Or
I guess it depends if if I was working on something and say I've been working on it for 2 hours and it's not going nowhere, it's like being a dead horse at this point. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and move on. But one way around not getting writer's block is actually outlining your script before you actually write. So basically, you're doing all the heavy lifting, all the hard work up front, and then when you actually translate that to writing a script, you're not just looking at a blank page. You actually you're filling in the blanks, and you actually have something to look from, and it eases you a bit, because I don't care who you are, what level, whatever, you get a little not frustrated. You get a little nervous when you're writing. You put so much pressure on yourself and you want it to be perfect. So it gives you the opportunity to relax a little bit. So and then also another thing that my mentor told me, that's the reason why I'm working on so many projects. Like I have so many different things in development. So if I do get stuck, I just hop on this project over here. I'm actually developing a project about a female person who loves wrestling. And I'm still in development. Yeah, it's just basically the female character. It just popped in my head one day because I love wrestling. They say write what you know. And I was like, man, it would be a dope TV show or something like that about this character where they love vintage everything, and their goal is to, let's say, buy like a vintage boutique or something like that. But the way I wanted it was she was going to open up the episodes doing the to beat a man, you got to beat the man, like doing the wrestler
the Ric Flair.
promos. Yeah, doing the wrestler promos. I was going to write wrestler promos for her. And I think for the pilot episode, oh my God, I didn't get off topic, but for the pilot episode, I was going to, you'd have a voiceover like, yeah, when I was growing up, most people was wearing heels or they was doing this. I was wrestling with the boys, or and then she'll cut her wrestling, jumping off the couch and stuff. But I just think it'd be a good show. And not just that fan base, the wrestling fan base is dedicated and just bananas. And it made me think like, why do I love wrestling? And I was like, I want to see that, especially with The Rock. He got his show, Young Rock. I love that show because all of the stories, it's just like, man, he was around Andre the Giant and Macho, all of those people as a little boy.
As a little kid.
We look up to them like as superheroes, and he just hanging out eating dinner with them. So, but
which is
yeah,
weird, really weird. It's just
Andre
like, oh yeah,
giving him life advice.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is weird to the fuck. But yeah, just making sure you just have a lot of different things at play so you can just like bounce around from project to project. Like one is gone, you stick to that one. If it gets cold, all right, let me see if I can hop over here. You know, that's all I do basically.
Cool. Yeah. And so I guess that's cool. So not I guess that's cool, but like I guess that's cool. Like, all right, yeah, this is okay, whatever. I was gonna say I guess that should be I'll wrap it up. And so then how are people gonna find you and your films, and if they're looking up on the internet? Actually, one second here before I get back to that, I was gonna ask one last thing. What do you do when you are writing it? Is it on a yellow legal pad? Is it in a notebook? Is it on bar napkins? Is it on a typewriter? Is it on a computer? Are you using a chisel and stone? What do you do when you're writing?
Okay, so I try to come up with at least 4 or 5 ideas every day. Any idea I get, or if I want to continue to develop something, always start with my phone. That's like number one. But everything else is going to be Google Docs. That's where I develop my work at. And then I use Final Draft screenwriting software to write my scripts. So straight digital. But sometimes you kind of do want to write some stuff down just to go through the motion, because they do say when you write something down, you could attain information faster. It just really depends, but I'm always digital. So I use voice memos, the notepad on the phone. Yeah.
And you go back and check it then, or does stuff just kind of sometimes get lost in there and you forget about it?
Sometimes stuff do get lost. That's the reason why I've been trying to do a better job with organizing it. Like, so I have a notepad that says feature film ideas, TV show ideas, short film ideas. And it could just be a character name. It could be something I saw. Sometimes it's more fully developed. It depends. Like, even when I go to bed at night, and if I'm, can't sleep, instead of getting on social media, I probably just go on Google Docs on my phone and just try to keep developing these ideas. So, yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So now then, how are people going to find your films and find you?
So everybody can find me at Chandonae across all social media platforms. My film production company is called Collect a Story. No, it's called Story Collector, but you can find us at Collect a Story. We got a short film Blitz coming May 5th. Just type in Blitz, type in Chandonae, or type in Collect a Story, and it will pop up for you on YouTube. That's where you guys can find me, Chandonae. Even my website, Chandonae.
Okay, I put that on there too.
Made it easier for people because I know a lot of people can't pronounce my name. So I was like, and it's a long name. So I was like, how can I make this easier for everybody? So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes how often do you have to spell it out? If you're like talking to someone on the phone and you have to go, especially if it's someone, I don't know. Yeah. Or you have to go and you have to say all the letters and like, C for cat, H for,
it took me so long
hard
to spell that name. It took me so long to spell that name growing up, like especially writing it in cursive. Oh my God. I was like, why my mom? Why
Yeah,
my parents do this to me?
that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like my on those Scantron forms that we used to have to do with the test, the
Oh
bubble tests,
man.
like my name would not fit on the thing.
Yeah,
It
I had
would
some AE at the end.
Yeah, and like, well, I swear that's why my grades were not good. It's because they always thought I couldn't spell my name. That's what I'm going with. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on and talking and getting to share your story and not knowing where we're gonna go and just coming on here and knocking it out of the park. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. It was so fun.
Yeah, it was. And thank you everyone for listening. Everyone in the studio audience over there, you've been great. Your applause has been
Nice.
light tonight, but you know, you're doing all right. So that is the show, man.